Okay, here we go. Thursday. If the lighting's off on me, you can't see me as well. You're welcome. Here's the. I want to talk. I hope yesterday was awesome. Hope it's really, really good. Hope tomorrow's even better. We're going to talk about how you're going to win today. Okay. And I'm pretty passionate about this because I'm in it. I'm living it day to day, or day after day, day to day. I guess that's a outlook issue. But I'm living it. And that it's this. It's investing in my database, of which I call my audience. And Destiny was asking about this. She's putting out a video. And she had a question about kind of a day in the life type of thing. And she asked you, what do you think about this video? I'm going to talk about something that didn't go well rather than something that goes well all the time. I think that's great. But I want to tell you this. Consider your database, your audience, and worry less about the size of your database and more about the reaction of your audience. Okay. It's way better to have 100 people that may act on what you're doing than 1,000 people that don't care. Right. I was telling Jeff, I'm kind of caught up in this right now. And it's a battle. Is it a popularity contest because I want to get likes and comments? Which it is. I mean, that's social media. How come nobody likes this? It must not be good. Or why aren't anybody commenting? Or why are they commenting like that? But don't get caught up in that. At least what I'm telling myself, don't get caught up on that. What I'm telling myself is I'm talking to my audience. The stuff I'm putting out is for my audience. And if somebody else bumps into that and they don't get the joke, or if the information isn't apropos to them and they let me know, well, that's a them problem. All right. What you have to be doing, Destiny, and anybody else who's doing this is treat your audience, your database, like you would any investment that's putting in effort consistently over time. All right. This viral bullshit is like winning the lottery. Put in $100 a day as opposed to waiting until you get this $10,000 bonus and then putting it in. You're better off putting in the $100 a day. It's the same thing with your database. Call your 20 people a day as opposed to calling 100 once in a while. Put your content out every single day as opposed to waiting until you get the best award-winning content. And then I'm going to do 1 million of them. I know some people will batch their content. They'll go out on a Saturday and do 1 million videos and then post them for the next 999 days. That's cool. But what that does is it captures a moment in time that you spread over time that may not reflect. So I would caution against that, to be honest. Just come out with something every day. If you need a calendar of ideas, put it out there. AI can do that for you. And then talk on it every day. Like the messages I put out here are literally conceived, and you can tell some days, more days than others. They are literally conceived there within the 24-hour period as a reaction to what's going on in my world. So what I wrote about today, and it got zero response, which is interesting because I got my whole career tied up to it. But that is building my audience. I want to build my audience of buyer, owners, and sellers around the message that I want to put out. And not everybody wants to hear about how to invest in real estate. Matter of fact, I got quite strong dissenters that say the stock market is the only way to go. And it's weird. Stock people are kind of arrogant that way, that real estate is a low life thing. And they'll point out how NVIDIA is crushing. I'm like, okay, cool. You're not for me. And I saw Seinfeld said this. He reads all his comments or whatever, even the crappy ones. And he said, it's all right. It doesn't bother me because I know, I guess he's operating on a higher level. Because he says, I know that not everybody is going to like my joke. And that's fine. I don't care. I don't need everybody. I'm at the point where I need everybody for my little soft ego. But I'm getting better at it. I'm getting better at saying, okay, fine. You don't get it. You don't get my joke. That's fine. The joke wasn't for you, right? The investing part of this isn't for you. The lead gen part isn't your thing. I got it. Cool. I'm not your guy. Go find another guy, right? So Destiny, I would encourage you to do that, to talk about the wins and the losses.
Right.
And to build your day-to-day into it. But what I would caution and urge you, and I think we've had that conversation before, is make sure you're intentional about who you're talking to.
Right.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And develop a message for that audience, and maybe separate your personal from your professional audience.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to talk about your kids, or something, you don't really care if Joe in Idaho is paying attention to that. Or if you talk about your business and you don't necessarily care if your aunt on your cousin's side cares or whatever.
Right.
Just be a little bit aware of who you're talking to. But I think what you need to do is to simply build an audience who likes to hear what you have to say. Jay Leno built an audience the same time Johnny Carson was doing his thing, and David Letterman built an audience the same time the two of them were doing their thing. And Colin, what's his name? Coco. How come I just forgot his name? But whatever. There's plenty of them built their audiences at the same time. And my point is, there's enough people out there that we can all have our own damn audience.
Yeah.
Right?
For sure.
Stallone was doing, adventure movies the same time
as Chuck Norris.
Chuck Norris and Arnold and all those. There's plenty for all of them.
Mm-hmm.
There's plenty for us from a real estate standpoint. And I know I get into this little territorial thing sometimes. Oh, I don't want to give away my secrets. If my secret is this, outwork the next guy. Oh, you broke the code. Right? Be more original than the next guy. Oh, how'd you do that? My gosh. Right? And that's really what it comes down to. So what you're going to want to do to build your audience is just like investing, consistency over and over and over and over again. And but you're going to want to talk to them about what they care about, right? So talk to them on the phone, knock on their door, go to an open house, do whatever you got to do to have a this and then that, right? A conversation, because those conversations are going to be where you learn about their hopes, dreams, and goals for real estate. Because you're going to have direct feedback. Then you're going to augment that with monthly emails about the market. Real estate's up, real estate's down, real estate's sideways, whatever it is. Then you're going to augment the two of those because that's a up mile high view. Then come back and send them an email every month about their neighborhood, their building, their area, because that's more to them. And then you're going to social media the whole thing. You're going to create a video every week about what's going on in the world, right? But none of that is two-way unless they reach out to you. The two-way, the good stuff comes when you call them or knock on their door or have some sort of a meet and greet somehow. And then your videos, your content, your stuff needs to be about how, when, why, where, what, those simple questions. Just answer those things. And you're going to create this database that people can binge on that's going to give you authority, credibility, and everything you need for your audience. And folks that are your audience are going to look and find them. Those that aren't going to look, and they're going to throw shots from the cheap seats. And then they probably have cheap sheets as well by the seashore. But that's what I'm doing. And if John, you guys are watching this and you want to build an audience, because I got an audience, or I don't know, I have a database of some like 27,000 people of emails and phone numbers and all that stuff. And but our true audience numbers in the hundreds, maybe 1,000 some. The rest of them are database, if you want to call them that.
Yeah.
But I've got probably 1,000 A's and B's, and it's growing. slowly at first and then fast, just like this freaking market. So in sum, if you want a valuable database of buyers, sellers, and owners, you got to do it over time. You do big pushes and fallbacks, but do it consistently. People will be fine. You can play football on Sundays. People start to look for them every Sunday, right? You can do it that way. Yeah, that's my message. Build your database into an audience. Recognize what your audience wants and talk to those people. Do not form a message to somebody who isn't in your tribe, because then you're going to lose your tribe.
I like that.
You know, so be careful. So Mark, what do you got? You look at this a lot.
Yeah. So I heard something, two things happened recently. One, I was talking to somebody and I thought it was a brilliant idea.
Oh, I'm right here. That's very kind.
But it was create a Facebook group that you begin to put your friends in and direct some messages to that group and create your tribe, create your audience. So move people from the outside on your general feed into your group. And what strikes me is I watched a documentary on Z100, Scott Shannon, the voice of Z100 in the 80s. He took that radio station and went from worst to first. And he actually, he pulled up his ratings early on. And he's like telling his audience, we're worst, we're last place, this is horrible. And I need your help to we're going from worst to first. And so he started saying, I want you to put this, it was just viral before it went viral. He said, write Z100 on a piece of paper and put it in your window, hang it from the sheets. And if they saw anybody with a Z100, self-made Z100 stickers, that they had a van going around that would give t-shirts. Well, within like the next Nielsen rating period, they went from worst to first, and then he dominated that. And of course, Z100s went all over the country. Z106, where I grew up from, but it was a fascinating thing of get your audience, speak to your audience, enlist your audience, and they became it was the audience that took them from worst to first. So
I think Howard Stern did that.
Yeah.
I think that was his game. Very cool. I love it. I'm curious about Destiny. Who's your audience? Can you do this? Can you tell me who your audience is? Do you know?
Yeah, right now my audience is mostly people that I know personally, or people that I've met through starting real estate. So that's my main audience. I've got a professional page that I've started to share more business stuff from to keep it separate, like you talked about. But my main audience is people that I know personally.
Okay. Okay. So let me ask you this. You're going to put up billboards around town talking about you and what your service is. Billboards, you can't write a whole bunch on there or people aren't going to read it, right?
Right.
What's your billboard going to read? What's your thing?
Destiny opens doors.
Okay, what does that tell me? You're a locksmith?
I think that's the part.
I'm being serious here.
But I think that's it. You ask the question, what does that mean? And so eventually they're going to either try to Google it or find it. And I think that's kind of like what Paulie was doing with his signs. It makes you intrigued enough just to ask the question. I think that's mission accomplished.
Okay. I'm not buying it, but okay, if you are, right, you're the one that needs to.
Yeah, because I think putting real estate is too in your face, and then people who don't need that service at that time are just going to not even pay attention to it. But to make them ask the question, what does that mean? I think that's what the
I think
goal
you're okay. Okay. You good with that, Mark?
I think it's refining it. Yes. And I'm going to say, it's refining it to, you've got to start saying, what does that mean? And showing demonstrations so that people begin to see what that means. Otherwise, they may ask, are you a locksmith? But if you show you're opening doors to the community, opening doors to families, telling the story, opening doors to financial legacy for children.
Yeah, you're going to need something more than that, Destiny.
On a billboard, though, I think my thing is, why not stop the scroll? Get somebody to just stop and say, hey, what is that?
I think you're giving the public too much credit. I think they're not going to, it's like social media. They're going to swipe. No, I don't know what that means. Next.
So John, speaking of your audience. You've got Kevin from Navarre, Julie from Gulf Breeze, Tanya from Ocean City, New Jersey, who was there for the Scott Shannon Morning Zoo. That was his area. You got Jamie from Salt Lake City, Utah.
Wow.
You've got another Navarre and Iron River, Wisconsin. So you've got an audience all over this country.
I like that.
Nice. And everybody's going to have their own audience, because I think it's really important when you start building your audience that you understand who your audience is and that they understand who you are. Otherwise, you're going to do a lot of convincing as opposed to a lot of communicating.
Mhm.
And to pick on Destiny some more, thank you
Please
for having
do.
thick skin. This is creative criticism or whatever, constructive criticism. Probably very creative since I'm the one giving it. But constructive. I'm not trying to hurt you. I'm trying to help you here.
Please do.
If you're going to put up a billboard, and I'm not telling you to go get billboards, but just to convey your message, somehow you need to convey it. Destiny opens doors. Maybe if you're standing there with a for sale sign in the background or some way to tie it in.
Right.
But then you got to ask yourself, how am I going to put that together verbally? Imagine a for sale sign sitting behind me and then the words that no, you're not going to tell. People aren't going to get it.
No,
Right.
I agree.
And I'm not sure what Paulie's deal is, but and you don't have to tell me now, but I think anybody who's watching this, if you're going to build your audience, it's vital that you know who your audience is and that they know who you are and they want to be your audience. My stuff is we use vacation rental properties to build wealth so that you can live in retirement based on that cash flow and whatnot, right? That's our whole thing. I'm the guy that you go to learn how to use vacation rental properties to build the wealth such that you can live a great retirement. That's it. That's our thing. And some people get mad at me. Oh, the condo market in Florida sucks. Or maybe, but what's it going to be 20 years from now? What's it going to be 10 years from now? I'll guarantee you, I wish I would have bought a condo 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Right. For $100,000. The median sale price for a condo in our area 30 years ago was $98,000. Today it's $600,000. That's an up. Plus the how many months? 30 times 12 is 360 months that I would have collected rent on them and all that stuff. That's a lot. And somebody else would have paid for this huge asset that I have
Over
now.
and over and over again.
Right? Yeah. So that's my thing. That's what I do. Wherever you are, if you're in Salt Lake, if you're in New Jersey, wherever you are, what is your thing? And can you say it on a billboard without having to read the fine print?
I think that's at a point.
know.
You think about when you're driving past a billboard, you've got just few seconds to say, what does this mean? And in the mind of our people, they've got to get our messaging
Right.
so that they stop, as Destiny said, stop the scroll, and they go, that's me. That's me. That John Zazor, or however he pronounced it, the attorney on the coast,
Yeah.
Free Press, what he says is, bad drivers hate me. Well,
So think about that, you guys. Think about where you live in those billboards. And I'm not telling you to get a billboard, but the billboards you can remember are the ones that have done well. Because I'll guarantee you, driving by a lot of billboards, you cannot remember one thing about them.
Yeah.
Right. But, and then the other side of it is consistency over and over and over. Keep that message, keep your thing over and over and over. Here locally, there's another attorney. His name's Alexander Shinara. If you drive anywhere throughout some area around here, you're going to see billboard after billboard after billboard with just his name and whatever. And it tells you he's an attorney. And if you've been hit by a truck or whatever, you've been wronged in some way, call me. We do this, right? Over and over and over. But to the point, I don't need an attorney. I've never been hit by a truck, nothing. But I got this guy, Alexander Shinara, bouncing around my head.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing? Get Gordon's the same thing if you live in Louisiana in any way. But wherever you are, I'll guarantee you there's somebody somewhere doing something that resonates in your mind, even though you have nothing to do with it. But that's a big win. But for you, for right now, focus on who you are, the service you provide, and who your audience is. What do they want? When, why, where, how? Start answering those questions. And I would do them as a 48-second video, right? How to get, or when is the right time to sell my condo at the beach? And then answer it. What is the 4 things I can do to max out my sales price if I was to sell? 6 things people overlook when they're listing their place. What to expect from a home inspection? I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
Tell me on this. Who, what, where, when, why, how. Start doing those videos, and then take those videos and turn them into daily posts on your socials, right? But answer those questions to your audience. Don't start doing got hit by a truck called John Moran. Don't do that, right? You might be able to want to sell your house or buy. Maybe you're on the buy. Destiny opens doors. That might be too buyer centric even. I don't know, unless you want to be a buyer centric person. Or you're getting paid big tips in Vegas as people drive up, right? So again, constructive criticism. I'm not trying to hurt you here. So yeah, that's my message for today. Hey, and y'all that are showing up from wherever you are, thank you. If we can make your business better and you can win the day, I'm all for it. So
Now, Tanya,
one thing I do know for absolutely certain, if you leave here today and you go talk to somebody, start building your database today, you'll win.
Yeah.
You'll win today.
John,
Talk to y'all tomorrow. Let's go get it.
there are great
All right.
comments dropped in the feed by Tanya Karan from up in New Jersey. A couple links. Check those out. But let's go take on the day.
Let's go win it. See you
Bye,
tomorrow.
guys.